Hello, everybody. That's enough, DJ. That's enough. We are live today, Cantina MX Podcast. I'm your host, Jaime Landeros. Today we have a double pack. Me and Joel are going to be tackling this double jornada that's going on as we speak. And a lot of drama going on in Guadalajara. And Marco Fabian is no longer homeless. So we're going to talk about all this stuff. Joel, how we doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Chivas finally won. They had broken a record of Chivas history, which was 3 games without being able to score a goal. But that's all in the past now.
Holy smokes. Since our last episode, Chivas lost like you mentioned, against Puebla. They lost their 3rd game in a row. They made history by being the first time in their history that they didn't score a goal in the first 3 jornadas. And that was enough for Fernando Tena to get fired. And we don't know who's behind this, but my guess is Peláez, but I don't know. Some of the players were a little bit unhappy in the dressing room when they found out. And then today we officially announced Vucetich as the new head coach, and he already had his first session of training. So, Joel, how do we feel about this?
I'm confused. I know a lot of Chiva hermanos did not like Tena. They didn't like his style of play. But to me that's not the most important thing. To me, is the results. Get into Liguilla and just break that. It's been 5 tournaments with no Liguilla. I know it's on easy mode right now, 12 place team being able to qualify. But I mean, it's also like that habit of letting a project, at least let the proceso run its course. And I don't mean he has to stay there 2 years, but at least let him finish the season. And his numbers weren't really bad. If we look at them, he before the tournament was canceled, which was the clausura, he had the team in 5th place. His last 4 games were 3 wins and a draw. So I mean, those aren't bad. If we saw the points the team was making and the results, they were there. The preseason, he took the team to the final. They lost to Cruz Azul, and that's the other thing, that he basically got fired for losing 1 game because he didn't start the season. If you guys recall, he had COVID and he had to stay at home. So it was his assistant that coached the first 2 games.
Yeah, this guy gets everybody sick. He's quarantined for 2 weeks, so he's having Coyote pretty much coach the team while he's gone. And then right after he got sick, we lost 5 players. We lost Vega, we lost Nene Beltran, I think Peralta as well, and it's just like he got some of the team sick, and then we go on this terrible streak, and he gets fired. So I think the biggest issue I have with this is you had all this downtime, all this quarantine time to quote unquote rebuild. I wouldn't say we were in a rebuilding season because we kind of did all our purchases last season, but you had all this time, all this opportunity that, hey, maybe we should go coach shopping. Vucetich was available during the quarantine, if I'm not mistaken. And it seems like, go ahead.
But see, why would you do that if the team was doing good? Like, what? You had just given the coach the vote of confidence at the start of the season, and then throughout the season he's getting the results. So it just doesn't make sense that they would say, okay, let's replace him. It's just
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I mean, he was in 5th place. He was right in line for Liguilla. So I think something happened. I don't know if, between Tena and Amauri or Tena and Pelaez. Surprised me, Pelaez never came out to give a statement. Not even with the first 2 losses. I don't recall him saying anything or giving Tena a vote of confidence. So I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. We're probably not gonna know for a long time.
Somebody banged somebody's wife. I don't know.
I don't think. I don't think it was results. I don't think it was results, and I think fans just exaggerate too much. They're quick to forget.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, because I'm looking back at the canceled season, the Clausura of 2020. Chivas were on a good run. They were in 5th position. They had 4 victories, 4 draws, only 2 losses, and they were doing really well.
And the losses was to Tigres, which was the bad loss 3-0, and then to Cruz Azul, I think 2-1. But I mean, those are they were stronger teams.
Yeah.
So losing to them is no big deal. You don't want to lose with teams that are lower than you. So
yeah.
So that's that's like to be expected. When they plan out the season, they kind of have an idea. Okay, these are the teams we could beat. We could probably take a point from here, and these are where we were expected to lose. So I don't think it was out of the norm. Those results weren't really, especially with a lot of new players that had just came in.
Maybe you know this, but where was Vucetich during this whole time? Because was he available or was he not available? I know he was with Querétaro, right?
Yes. Well, he agreed to return, and then I believe they even announced him, but then he couldn't come to an agreement. He couldn't come into agreement like financially, so he ended up just like not, and he. It's a good thing he didn't, because had he coached the game and even just won, he would not have been available.
Yeah, it's just the reason I asked this is because when Tena came in to replace Tomás Boy, it kind of felt like one of those, it's like when you got a leak on a boat and you kind of just try and find whatever's available to kind of stick in there so it stops the leak. That's kind of how I feel like Tena's tenure at Chivas, at least in the beginning. But he had a respectable resume. He helped win the gold medal in London, and
he was the coach.
Yeah, he was the coach. So you kind of start to believe in this quote like long-term project. Pelaez is there. They get all these great signings, and it kind of felt like, okay, the team's starting to like come together. And then you come into the preseason with Copa por Mexico, and Chivas look really good, and they lose the final to Cruz Azul, and then come the actual league starts, and it's like a completely different team, and it's a completely different scenario. We went from like super Chivas, it's like that dog meat. We went from like super buff to like the little puppy, man. It's just like something happened.
He wasn't available for the first 2, which is okay. How are you gonna blame him?
Yeah.
And no, I do think like his profile, and again, I know a lot of fans, they don't trust him or they don't believe in him, but I think he had the right profile. Just like he's won the league twice. Cruz Azul, which was Cruz Azul's last league
97.
win back in
Wow.
97. But hey, man, miracle worker if you get Cruz Azul to win. And then he won it with Morelia in 2000. So, I mean,
wow.
If you could win with Morelia, dude, come on. Dude.
But that was 20 years ago.
Gives me some confidence. But yeah, it was. But then as coaching youth, which is, I think it's an important thing for Chivas, especially if they're going to be relying on cantera and young players. I mean, he had the, what he had, the Olympic gold.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he had been coaching, but he had been coaching the youth through, I think,
under 23.
Toulon tournament and Pan American games.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, I think did he win the Toulon?
Not sure, but yeah, with Tena. Are you still there, Joel? I wasn't sure if you could.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
No, I'm here.
with Tena, it's just like you. It just seems like this was a very, what's the word? It's like
Hey,
the
he won it, dude. Wait,
huh?
sorry, but he won
Yeah.
it. He won the Toulon tournament 2012 with Hector Herrera as the best player. And Marco Fabian was the top scorer with 7 goals. I mean, and that was in 2012. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I think if hey, you got these good results at the youth level, and you've proven you. I don't know, man. These fans are pretty harsh when it comes to some of the coaches, where it's like he has all these good achievements, and then all of a sudden he's trash because the team doesn't play the way you like. I don't know.
It seemed
I don't
like
know,
an
man.
impulsive decision, which we still don't know who made that call, but it could be something like maybe a miss. I don't know. Maybe he lost the locker room, or maybe he had issues with the higher ups or the front office. But whatever the case may be, it definitely felt like an impulse decision, and maybe the talks with Vucetic. I want to know how premeditated this decision was, because it seems like they were able to bring in Vucetic quite swiftly. I mean, they announced his departure right after like the Puebla game, and that was like on a Saturday or Sunday, and then today was the official unveiling of Vucetic. So it's like, man, this must have been premeditated, man, because it's like you got like a chick that you've been kind of like talking to, but then you got the real chick that you've been kind of going after for a while, and then she finally breaks up with her fucking dopey boyfriend, and she's available, and you just come in and swoop, man. You just come in and pull the robbery. And Vucetic is I mean, this guy needs no introduction.
So you're trying to say they made the bet for him? They set him up for the fail.
I don't know, man.
I wouldn't put that. We've seen stuff like that in Liga MX. One of the main things I could probably think about is Tena being associated with Hurtado, the player agent. I think in a while back, I don't know if you remember, they had that picture where it was like Tena, Cardoso, and Boy, like at a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
And the dude was there, and I know that's always been one of Pelaya's, I would say, setbacks, where he always he doesn't seem to have he doesn't seem to play ball with a lot of these what are they, like, agents that have a lot of sway and influence in Liga MX. And that was pretty much the main reason he got booted out of Cruz Azul. He wasn't taking players from their usual handler. He was bringing in through his own avenues, and I know that was one of the big reasons they came and they booted him out, especially because these agents, they not only represent players but coaches. So that could have been a thing where it's like you're not the players that Peláez brought a bunch of young guys, and I think then I wasn't playing them, and then that could have been, to me, one of the reasons where it's like, okay, we brought these guys, we're not going to bring anyone else, if you're not going to play them, because we're not going to replace them with players from your from your camp.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but moving on to greener pastures, Vucetic, this guy, they call him King Midas. He's got 5 titles, 4 different clubs. He's won with León, he's won with Tecos, he's won with Pachuca, and most recently with Rayados and Monterrey. He's also won some Conca Champions Leagues, 3 of them, in fact. This guy, he's a proven commodity. This guy is exactly what Chivas need, don't you think?
Yeah, it is for me, but I don't know how long it might take him. that goes out to my Chilla hermanos. They cry too much, and results aren't always immediate. It could take a while. So, I mean, I don't think they should always expect the team to start playing, off the bat. And it's one of the discussions I was having before Tena, because I was saying, like, even if you look at Almeida's record.
Oh yeah, he had a terrible start.
Yeah, when he started his first full season, well, basically they brought him in to rescue the season, which he didn't. He still failed to make Liguilla, right? And then he had his first start now, where he had the team. He had the team for preseason. He had the team from the following season, and he couldn't get a win. It took him until match week 9 for the team to finally win. And then even in Liguillas, it took him 6 games into Liguilla. The first 4 games, they were both against America. So he couldn't. I mean, that guy struggled too.
Yeah.
And I'm not pointing it out to say that he sucks. This is just to say, hey, look, even this guy that everyone praises, even he had a hard time, and it took him a while. And if they wouldn't have held on to him, he wouldn't have achieved all of that he ended up achieving with the team. So I do think, I mean, just for the fans, just to be a bit more conscious of how this is, because sometimes we'll remember things a certain way. We forget.
Yeah.
We'll forget how.
Yeah, you forget the struggle. You forget the beginning. But I think with Vucetic, I watched the entire press conference this morning. So I had a few things that I wrote down. They asked him what are the things that need to get fixed, and he was very adamant about how hey, this team is on a great trajectory. There's really not much that needs fixing. The biggest thing that I'm going to try and implement immediately is self-esteem, confidence, and intensity. So, that's basically, from an outsider's perspective, he was seeing this team, and he noticed like these things, more of the mental side of the game. He's going to be helping these players. He said that, the team has a lot of individual talent, but they're failing at working together, and kind of getting everyone working as a team. So that was one of the things he pointed out. Also, they asked him, what are your short-term and long-term goals? He said, the short-term goal obviously is positive results. Long-term goals is championships. And they asked him, is this the biggest challenge of your career? He said, yes. He says every coach aspires to be at a club like Chivas in their career, and he's finally there. So he's really excited about the opportunity. Just some of the things that he said in the presser today.
Yeah, well, I wish him well, and I know he wanted to at least. He's like at the end of his coaching career. He's like 65, so this could probably be his last run.
How old is Tuca?
Tuca's up there in age as well. They're both in their mid-late 60s.
66. Okay.
Let's ask the internet. Oh, you already? Yeah, he's 66, and I believe Buse is 65.
Yeah. So they're I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when you retire? You're gonna be a panelist on ESPN or something?
No,
like?
but you get to that age where it's just a living on the road,
Oh, I see.
and just the constant traveling and being in airports, and it's just like, I just don't want to deal with this right now.
I see.
Yeah, for some love that stuff, but some of them, but I mean, there's not that many coaches past 70.
Arsene Wenger, I mean, he was going senile towards the end, but he's 70.
Talking by himself.
I don't remember how old Fergie was when he stepped down from Man United, but he was up there in age too.
Yeah, but I think just with Alex Ferguson, because he was not. I don't think those guys are He's 78 right now.
Yeah.
And so he retired 2013.
2013, so 71.
So so I mean, that's what I'm saying. You don't see that many coaches past 70, at least not like in the hot seat. Sometimes they're part of the club.
Yeah.
In some administrative level, or like just overseeing that stuff, which I wouldn't mind. I think Chivas has been lacking that, having people like that.
Oh yeah, they got a circus running, man, 24/7. They need people with some brains.
Yeah, they would bring people that were non-soccer and have them.
Didn't they bring like a doctor? I mean, they brought like a doctor in or something. I don't know.
They've had all types. But at one time, I think Vergara had like a council, like a little five-man group. I don't remember who was in it, but I mean, if you go have some people, like especially like with a teach that have that big track record, I mean,
I'll be honest.
Why not? I mean,
I can't think of any coach Chivas have had in history that has this kind of resume. I mean, he might be the best coach we've ever signed.
Just on results alone, with league, especially league, in a long time, I would have to go and see some of the older coaches. But Chivas hasn't really been bringing anyone of renombre. They just
Chivas are the type of club that like you create your own like legend here, but you had a blank slate, So like Chepo and stuff, he didn't really have like that manager experience until he.
No, it was like his first. He had been assistant. Yeah. He had worked under on La Puente, which is like a really good coach to learn from.
I'm on Wikipedia, so I mean, I'm looking at like Jesus Bracamontes, Oscar Ruggeri, Daniel Guzman, Eduardo de la Torre, Hans Westerhoff, Benjamin Galindo, Juan Carlos.
Hans didn't come in as a coach. He came in to help with the youth.
Yeah.
To help set up like the youth teams.
Kind of like,
and then they sort of like threw him in there.
Kind of like Loco Biesla when he was at Atlas, right? He was in charge of like the youth, and then.
Oh no, he demanded that. Like I think they brought him in, and I think he said, "Man, your whole club is jacked up.
Oh, okay.
I need to fix it before I could coach it." And he's like, "Let me just work on some of this stuff." And I'll be like a GM, and then I'll step in as coach. And so I think he did both. But they did want Bielsa as coach from the get-go. But I think he just...
Let me throw another name at you. Javier Ascargorta. Remember that mustache?
Yeah, that guy, man. His claim to fame was back in '94 because he qualified Bolivia to their first ever World Cup.
Oh wow!
And so that dude had worked with so Bolivia had the Tawichi Aguilera Academy, and that was like they ended up unearthing a lot of like top players. I believe El Diablo Echeverri was one of them. But it's like that Aguilera sort of gave birth to like their golden generation, and they end up qualifying to the World Cup.
Wow!
Even beating Brazil in the process.
Wow! But, holy smokes!
They crashed pretty bad at the World Cup because this was the World Cup where they said it was automatic red if you tackle from behind.
Oh.
And so we had the Mexican ref. It's the first game, dude. It's the game opener, which is the defending champions Germany, and it's against Bolivia, man. They're the noobs. And they're playing, and it's the opener, and you have the FIFA, all the top brass, Joe Avalanche, and everyone watching. It was a Mexican ref, dude. His name.
I'll try and find him, but it's kind of hard to find.
His name skips my mind right now, but it's a Mexican ref. And dude, it must have been 1 minute into the match. Echeverri does like a tackle from behind, and automatic red. And dude, that's like that was their Maradona right there, man. That was their Pio Valderrama. That was like their
Really?
top dog. And to lose them 2 games,
Arturo
because you
Angeles?
have to. No, Bricio Carter. It could have been Arturo Bricio Carter.
Oh yeah, Bricio. Yeah.
And so
He gave 7 red cards. Holy smokes, bro. It was a record at the time. Jesus.
Was one, and it is believed that a big reason why he was so quick to red card Echeverri was because Avalanche was there, and it was like they just implemented this rule, and he was just there to impress the boss, I guess. But he hurt Bolivia, man. That just sucks, dude. I think they would have given a better fight.
Yeah.
But that's jacked up, and it hurt them bad. But that was Escargorta, man. That was him. But that was in '94. He didn't come to
2000.
What was it?
2005.
20 years later.
2000.
But he hadn't done anything since. Like if you then go see his record, nothing ever. That was just his one hurrah, and then that was that.
So we had Escargota, and then he didn't last long. We brought back Hans, then Chepo, then Efrain, then Omar Arellano, and then Francisco Ramirez, Raul Arias, Jose Luis Real, Quirarte, Ambriz, Coyote, Van Chip. I mean, tomato can after tomato can after tomato can. We had a very short spell with Ricardo Lavolpe until he molested one of the masseuses. And then, like I said, man, this is the first time in a long time. In fact, probably this is the biggest coach I've ever seen Chivas sign. And
you're young, but
I'm young.
They did have Leo Benhacker, who Dutch coach who had coached Real Madrid.
That was
they brought him
95.
They brought him back in back in 95.
He also coached America.
He ended up but there was a Super Clásico that got played. I think it was Clásico 101. Don't quote me on that. But America was being coached by Bielsa and Chivas by Benhacker. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they won 3-2. They started losing 2-0, and then they turned it around. But man, that's a long time ago. That's like another lifetime ago, man.
Yeah. So another thing that I wanted to take away from that press conference is at the end, they kind of talked about Macias, and they said, hey, we're hearing all these rumors about him leaving. And Vucetich said, hey, like the rumors are, you guys obviously know what's going on. We would love to keep him here and have him go to Europe with his mind straight, leaving Chivas with some silverware before he goes to Europe. The whole time, man, Peláez did not look happy. He was just kind of like he just had like some drama or some beef behind the scenes. Because at the end, they asked Edgar, he's like the new hire for Chivas TV. He used to be on TUDN. He's like the little short guy with a high-pitched voice. Edgar said, we saw pictures of Chicote circulating that he was like singing and stuff. Is he going to get in trouble for that? And he was like, no, he's not going to get in trouble for that. That was before the beginning of the season. That was like back in January. And then they said, is Pocho Guzman returning to Chivas? And he's like, I said it again, and I'll say it again one more time. Like, FIFA's not allowing us for that transfer to go through. The doors are open for him to return at a future time. But as of right now, he's not returning for this season. And then there was one more question that they asked him, and he just looked irate, man. Like, this wasn't a very, like, happy Peláez, like the Peláez that we knew and loved, like when he first joined the club and said, we're going to win titles,
Yeah, we're not here to talk about the censos. We're going to talk about championships. Then I do think it's a good possibility that Amaury just went over his head. And I hope Amaury's not the type to just go with the fans, because the fans are fickle. They one moment they're happy, the next one they're not. They have some unrealistic expectations. So I hope it wasn't that, where he all of a sudden just went along with it. Because something very similar happened when Chepo got sacked, where he had a pretty bad start of the season, but his results were there because he had taken the team to the semifinals, which they hadn't reached in a long time. They hadn't even been able to qualify to Liguilla. So I mean, this guy has you on semis with a decent squad, and you're gonna fire him. 3 games into the season, I believe, was that he was already looking to replace him until they brought Almeida, which was by like the 5th game or something like that. And it's like that's just, you set bad example of that, like with coaches that who's gonna want to work with you if you're, especially a good coach, a coach, it's like, and if he does, it's like he's charging you a lot of money. If you fire him, he doesn't care because he just cashed out on like a 3-year contract.
Yeah, if you
it's,
if you look at like our just track record, it's like Chivas don't treat anybody nicely. A lot of players leave super salty, like, with Pulido and Pizarro, and a lot of players have kind of just left like through the back door, and same thing with coaches. So it's like this doesn't really appeal the Mourinhos, the Pochettinos, the Guardiolas of the world. Who the fuck wants to coach Chivas, man? It's
or
like,
or the Bielsas, if that story is to believe that he met with Vergara and then he ended up turning it down because he said how his wife was meddling too much.
Oh, wow. I mean, that was true. It was true, man.
It was true, but we don't really know. This is from a story that Jorge Ramos made.
Oh, okay.
He divulged in his program, and then I think he repeated it at Fútbol Picante. But yeah, he said he got it through a very good source,
Yeah, you gotta love those. Switching gears, kind of just wanted to recap the doble jornada. So jornada 3, Pachuca kicked things off. They beat Querétaro 1-0. Xolos and Tigres tied 0-0. América Necaxa 1-1. Mazatlan, I think they got their first win ever, 2-1 over Toluca. Cruz Azul 2-0 over León. Rayados and Santos 2-2. Chivas lost to Puebla at home 1-0. Juárez Pumas 1-1. Atlas and Atleti San Luis 1-1. And then today and yesterday, the Jornada 4, it was midweek. It was Necaxa beat Mazatlan. Pachuca lost to León 1-0. Tigres beats Puebla 2-1. Querétaro beats Cruz Azul 1-0. Chivas got their first victory of the season. They beat Juárez 2-0 on the road. Pumas and Rayados tied 1-1. Xolos and Atleti 1-2-0. Atlas today lost against Toluca 2-1 in a very controversial game that I'll talk about right now. And then América, as of right now, the game just ended. I think they ended up winning 3-1, and they're on top of the table, 10 points in 4 games.
Yeah, and they looked at bad at the start of the season. When we were doing predictions, I told you, gentlemen.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, Piojo, man. I know it's another coach that people, they always say, oh, he's just a motivator. No, there's more to that. I mean, we're gonna start comparing them to some of the best. Is something else. But as a coach, I think he's proven himself time and time again, and he wouldn't be doing the things he's doing if that's all he had to himself, being a good motivator. And he's gone through squads that are, they've dismantled some of his squads or sold off some of the best players. He's had controversies with players and injuries, and he's always qualifying the team. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. He's been consistent for a long time now. So what happened, man? What happened with Toluca? Because I did not see that game.
It was crazy. I only caught like the second half, but the referee, man, I had to look him up. Luis Enrique Santander, guy is trash, bro. He called all 3 goals were penalties. And what happened in the second half was it was 1-1, and then Toluca had a play on the outside. It was on the edge of the box, and the player just blatantly dove, and the referee called the penalty, and he did not go to VAR. And then yeah, everybody was like, dude, that was like blatant dive. You're not even gonna go to VAR for this one. Like, you've already had 2 penalties in this game, you know.
Not Santander, man.
And then
you know who Santander is?
He's
the guy that ref the Chivas Tigres final.
He's on our payroll. Yeah, I'm aware of him.
Supposedly.
So
I mean, if you're doing this, it makes it hard to defend him.
So then check this out. So then Sambuesa, he's at Toluca now. He puts it away. So Toluca are up 2-1. Immediately, like, I want to say within 2 minutes, another sketchy ass play inside the box, and Atlas, the defender, he just like kicks this guy in the box. Like, doesn't even go for the ball, kicks him on the thigh, guy falls down, and the referee doesn't say a word. And then finally, like, he's like, all right, let me review this one. And he actually takes his time to like review the play. And I'm like, is this guy literally going to call like his 4th penalty of the day? Like, and his second one in like literally the last 2 minutes. And then you could see, like, he looks at the replay, and then they zoom in on him, and he's just like, I'm not going to do it. He's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm scared to. I called the wrong penalty, the one that wasn't a penalty. And the one that is a penalty, I'm just going to let it go because I'm going to get destroyed if I literally give them another penalty and it's 3-1. So it was terrible, man. That guy needs to retire. Holy smokes.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, they need to. Sometimes they do. They'll fine or they suspend. Some of these refs for bad performance. Send them to ref camp.
They should just send them to the MLS, bro. Torture them.
Yeah, I'm surprised Pumas because they're in 3rd place. And they're undefeated. And they lost, we've mentioned it already, they lost their coach. I think they're still with an interim. I think they're still with the interim guy. I think some Argentine that was doing the youth teams. Forget his name. But it's very interesting that they're maintaining. And in Puebla, out of nowhere, I don't think no one was expecting Puebla to have this type of start. But what is it? Who's is it no surprise now? Atlas disappointing again, even though it's their last place. We thought they were gonna be a bit better because Grupo Orlegui, who runs Santos, they're the ones calling shots at Atlas. They even booted Marquez. They're like, hey, dude, we don't need you here right now. And then Marquez, he's in Spain. I think he's coaching a youth team.
Rafa? Yeah.
Yeah, he's coaching some youth team over there. But Atlas, man, that's they might be cursed. I think this team just
they are
cursed. They're not meant to win, man, and they're just whipping boys.
It's it's weird because like they're shitty, but they're not shitty enough to get relegated. They're just right there, right on the border, man. They're just like
they're the Liga MX lumpbusters, man. They're the torta. If you have a dry spell, you have at it with Atlas, and you feel good for a bit.
Oh my god.
I give credit to their fans, though. I don't think I could have lasted this long as an Atlas fan. I would have just, you know.
You know, it's funny. They might have the player with the best haircut of the season with Victor Malcorra. He has he's brought back the mullet, but in 2020 style. He's got the business in the front and then the dreads in the back, bro. It's like, what? I have not seen this, bro. I have not seen this. This is crazy, man. He's from Argentina, of course. Maybe
they're keeping the mullet alive over there, man.
Bro, if you could, I'll see if I can send that to you. You can see his hair, bro. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, they got a thing for mullets. Even that one kid, what was it, Romero? The young kid that debuted in Spain. He was born in Mexico, but to Argentine parents, and he's like, you know, part of the media was trying to do a push until this interview came out, and he's like, he pretty much said his dream is to play for La Albiceleste. Oh damn, I'm looking at it. Yeah,
man. Party, business in the front, party in the back with the Rastafari. He's got the dreads.
Yeah, man.
Funny that you mentioned that because Tom Marshall said that they're still keeping in contact with the family and that they presented them the project and that they have to take the decision. This was on August 12th.
Well, that's not that long.
But I'm just like, come on, man. I mean, does he have any association with Mexico? I mean,
he was born there.
That's it.
Well, what more do you want, man? He was born in Mexican soil, man.
There's a lot of people that were born in Mexico. My favorite comedian, Louis C.K., born in Mexico.
He claims it. He's never shied away from that. Yeah, I know he doesn't live there, but
you don't see us trying to cap Louis C.K. for the national team.
No,
he doesn't even speak Spanish. He couldn't even do jokes in Spanish, man. But
no, he doesn't. Yeah.
But Mexico, if they were to assemble an all-star comedy, you know, like the Latin Kings of comedy, you best believe they would try and poach him. They'd be like, "Hey, eres Mexico, Mexicano, way." You know.
No, I mean, I think because they feel this guy could, you know, his potential to be really good.
Yeah.
I know they tried it with Neri, and they did eventually got him to play, and it's kind of the same again. So who knows, man? Who knows? He might end up on the radio saying how he changed his mind, but who knows? I don't know, man.
We'll see what happens. Chasing after a girl that nobody wants, you know, that doesn't want you, rather. It's just typical Mexico, man. Another not big news, but it is the thumbnail for today's podcast. Marco Fabian, he's back in Mexico. He's playing for Ciudad de Juárez, and boy, he just looks so happy in his. He looks so happy.
Picture, man. I saw that picture. That dude, he was probably hoping for Mazatlan, you know, at least hang out in the coast, have some sun. But he's right in the border, man.
Yeah.
Ouch. It's like his accountant was like, "Hey, dude, it's drying up. You better take a job."
Your coffers are empty, man.
Yeah, that's. Wow, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Marco Fabian. He's a talented player, but his mind doesn't seem to be on the football.
It's crazy because he had that spell in Philly, and they said, "Yeah, we're good, bro. Thank you for your efforts here, but we're not going to be extending your contract." So he left Philly and went to Al Said, the team where Xavi is coach, and then again another free transfer to Juárez. So kind of crazy. He's had like 3 or 4 free transfers in his career. I mean, that just goes to show that there's something that you know what I think it is? It's his medical. I think he
his bad back.
his back. He injured his back because I remember he went to he was at Chivas and then he was sold to Frankfurt. Had an amazing time there, but then he got injured, and then there was gonna be he was gonna transfer somewhere else, and then it felt
Turkey, right? To like a Turkish
yeah,
club.
it like
I
got.
think they sent his ass back.
I think it was like Galatasaray or Fenerbahce, one of those 2 clubs, and then it just fell apart because he failed his medical, and I think that's probably caused teams to like think twice about signing him because they know he has like if they looked at his Carfax, it's like show me the Carfax. I'm like, oh man, this guy doesn't have a liver, he's got a bad back. I don't.
Damn, he's on one foot. Well, I guess we'll see. We're gonna get to see how, maybe he only has like 10 minutes, worth of playing time in him.
Yeah.
Before he pulls his back or whatever. So, damn, it's kind of sad sometimes to see some of these players, very talented players, and then it's kind of their careers sort of fizzle out like this, and they end up just playing in any club that's willing to give them a chance. We sort of saw with Wolfel, who was playing indoor soccer here in the U.S. and then
like Chicago, I think, or some shit.
And then playing what were those called? Playing at tailgates and shit. We'll give you some basada and other beer you could drink, and he was. But yeah, it's kind of sad, You want to see some of these players at least retire, at a club.
Yeah, dude, what's crazy is I look at Fabian and I look at La Chofis. I'm like, man, it's like history is repeating itself, bro. It's just like
he's holding the mirror, huh? He's holding the mirror for Chofis.
I'm disappointed that Chivas didn't sign Fabian, not even to play him, but just to be like, hey, Chofis, if you keep it up, bro, you're gonna end up like me.
Did you?
They need to scare him straight.
Did you see South Park where there was this? You could hire like an actor, and then they would pretend to be the kid from the future.
Oh no, I didn't seen that.
It's pretty funny. It's like it was like the same idea you had, just to scare people straight.
Yeah.
That would be funny though, man. That's like you right there, man. Like hey, trophies. Damn. But yeah, no, I knew they were gonna. I knew Chivas wasn't gonna go after that guy. Just too much problems, especially discipline, and they still seem to be having some of those. So, hopefully we're at the tail end of that, at Chivas. This big party, this like frat house that Chivas has become.
Yeah, man. There, going back to Macias, I guess somebody on Twitter tweeted out, "Hey, his girlfriend is already posting photos on social media about her landing in is it San Sebastian? That's where Real Sociedad is, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't have a girlfriend. He responded like, I don't have a girlfriend.
Oh snap! It's the side chick.
It's the side chick.
It's the side piece. It's just to stay warm at night. Oh wow! Damn.
It's funny.
He must be pissed then if he's like, "Hey man, you're throwing me under the bus here."
It's just funny because like these rumors are picking up steam and like, oh, it's está, it's done. He's already over there. Because it was weird because he played for 60 minutes against Juarez. He scored a penalty kick, and he got subbed out, which you never see Macias get subbed out. He got subbed out for Alexis Vega. So like adding more fuel to the fire. Like, oh, is it because he's going to Spain after this game, or they don't want to cause him injury, so he can pass his medical. Like people are already assuming that he's gone. But nothing's certain yet, and I think maybe they're pulling him prematurely because it's a doble jornada, and Chivas are going to have another game.
Yes. Yeah, and hadn't he been injured?
I think so.
I think he has.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. You don't want him to get injured again. You want to bring him back slowly. But you're right. You have to rest some of these players. In the doble jornada, so Chivas will be going up against
Atleti
San Luis, who they're coming out of a big win away to Cholos.
Mm-hmm.
So is Chivas playing at home?
Chivas will be playing at home.
And so this should be Wusa's debut, because what's his face? Leaño was the interim coach.
Mm-hmm.
So Leaño is the youth guy, and he coached the game against Juarez.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I think, so originally they said he was going to coach the first two, just the doble jornada. But I think Vuce might be like, all right, just, take a seat.
There's already photos of Vucetich in training. Like he literally, the press conference was really funny. They had everybody already ready, and then they go to a live feed of him in a freaking bang bus, like. Like, yo, we're not even at the stadium yet, but they're like asking him questions already as they're driving him to El Estadio Akron. And I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on over here, bro? Like, you guys could have just waited until he gets there. Like, no need to rush this thing. And then so I thought it was really funny, but he already had his first day of training today. So I think his debut will be against Atleti San Luis. And talk about a softball, you know what I mean? Like if there's any team that you would want to debut against, it's against a team that is, new. And you have a pretty good opportunity at home to get some points.
Yeah, they're definitely, at the lower end, bottom of table teams, So yeah, you're right. That is if you're looking at the teams left to play, that is one of the teams that you would want to face.
Yeah, because the schedule will start to pick up after that. They'll play Toluca and then they'll play Pachuca, so a little bit more adversity there. But Jornada 5 is gonna start tomorrow already, man. They're wasting no time. You went a couple months without football, but now it's like every day it feels like they're playing. So Puebla Pachuca will kick off tomorrow, Jornada 5. And then Chivas will play 3 o'clock on Saturday. So a lot of football these last couple of days. Also, I forgot to talk about some pretty big things that happened in Europe. Raul Jimenez, unfortunately, crashed out of the Europa League against Sevilla. He actually missed a penalty, and he got a lot of slack.
His first miss ever, right? If I'm not mistaken.
He's actually missed. He's missed before. But yeah,
penalties. I thought.
No, he actually.
Okay.
Oh no! You're right. I'm pulling it up right now. It's the first time he's missed for the club.
Yeah, he's pretty sure thing when it comes to.
What a way to miss, man! Before that game, he had 26 out of 26 in all competitive games.
Yeah.
So, Raul Jimenez and Wolves unfortunately crashed out of the Europa League, and also Atleti, the real Atleti Madrid, crashed out of the Champions League today against Leipzig. And Hector Herrera was actually in the starting lineup. He did not have a good game. So, some player abroad action. It's definitely one of those situations where Herrera really has not been able to cement his position in the starting lineup. So for him to start today, it was kind of like, wow, okay, big deal. But after his performance, there's kind of no surprise of why he is a substitute. He just, I don't know, man. He was the captain in a big club in Portugal, but it's a fisherman's league. It doesn't really translate as well as the La Liga, which is arguably the most competitive league, up there with the Premier League in the world. So it's just a different animal.
Oh man, well, we'll probably be seeing him at Liga MX or MLS soon.
He's 30,
He's well, yeah, but I mean, if you're not getting a better club, if you're not key player at Athletic, you're not gonna get any better offers. So it's maybe a couple mid-table teams waiting for him. So you want to do that, or you want to?
I mean, Guardado's still in Europe. He's definitely not over the hump yet. I think he still has plenty to.
Yeah, but compared, like, he's not in a big team. That's why I'm saying he could stay in smaller clubs.
Yeah.
And just hustle, and that's it. Nothing wrong with that. Is that's what you want. But for some players, they're like, I could cash in on my fame. Because and you get all these perks of, like, you kind of have this like almost celebrity like status, and just have a more I guess more leisure time, I guess I should say.
I don't think there's too many teams that can afford him right now. He's probably
over here they can.
So
yeah, like Tigres, Monterrey, they have the money to do it.
I don't think they have.
Man, I know.
I don't think they got 24 million.
No, they wouldn't buy him like that. I mean,
yeah.
Season, he wouldn't go for that big amount. Maybe half, like 10 million.
He actually left Porto as a free agent. So he signed. This is his first year with Atleti. You know what I mean? So I don't know how long his contract is, but there's no team that's going to be able to, at least in America, that's going to be able to, North America, that's going to be able to afford him.
But you know what? A lot of times it's like, okay, so if he left on a free, why is it worth 24 million? And a lot of times it's because of his wages. Like they're paying his wages are like. He makes this amount.
Oh yeah, he's getting paid.
Sometimes they're like, a club is like, okay, well, we might want to recoup this, and so that's why we're gonna value him this much. But I think that if he's not at that level, you're not even a starter. No one's gonna pay.
It's a tough team to. It's a tough team to break into, man. I mean, they're midfield.
But I'm saying.
Their midfield is.
That's why if he was key, there would be a bunch of clubs knocking at the door trying to bring him in.
Yeah.
But that's just not the case. So I could see him like maybe just coming back over here. Hey man, hasn't he been like GQ came out like he did his ears, he did his nose, and he's been right. He had to cover. Hey, you want to be in Spain over there hustling every day like you're a noob. Or come over here, man. You get the what was it, the Vela experience, man. Dodger game with J-Lo Sparkbox right in front of you. You get first pitch, Lakers. Dude.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Why, dude? Why am I gonna be in Spain, getting up early and then fucking still running 20 miles and trying to impress you guys for? I don't need this shit. It's already done a couple World Cups. Just go put me by the beach, nice house. I come and play over here with, with these subpar defenders. I only train like an hour a day. Boom. I mean, because look, you work hard, man. You work hard. Eventually, you wanna
absolutely
get to enjoy this shit. You don't want to be like, fucking, grinding every day. Like you can impress some fanboys, so they'll be, the same dudes that are gonna forget about your ass once you retire.
Oh man, it's funny, man. I mean, you bring up the other side of football that people don't think about. It's like, and then you look at people like Vela, and you look at people like Chicharo, just chilling. They're like they're playing at like 20% intensity, but they're getting paid like they're getting paid well, so it's one of those things. Fun fact.
No, to stay, no, just really quick, because it's really difficult to maintain, like to stay in this
competitive,
really high level, and it's like the kind of CR7 is what makes him so impressive. But that dude works really hard, man.
Oh yeah.
Even when it's like his preseason, this guy's still going ham, and that's what puts him out there. But there's very few players like that are like in like the Zlatans and all of that. It's they're like in a minority. And then for the rest of the players, a lot of them don't have a choice. That's why they have to like hustle, and they're at the tail end of their career, and it's like, okay, I need to I
gotta go to Juarez.
This amount of money. I don't want to end up with Juarez, man.
I gotta pay my bills. Who wants me? Juarez? All right, man. I guess I'll have to.
At least retire with no money to have your own OXXO. 'Cause these dudes have lifestyles that cost a lot of money. Like,
man.
Property tax and all this stuff, man. Come on, and if you're not making the money you were, you're gonna have to start selling cars and all that.
You're gonna have to start making commercials. You're like the spokesperson of like some I don't know what the pingüinos. What's the little pastries?
It is marinela. Yeah, pingüinos like chocolate cupcake.
You're like on the little face of the little Twinkies over there.
Oh man.
Oh man. A little fun story about Hector Herrera. He had with any kid trying to break out professionally, but he was struggling really, really hard. And his girlfriend was saying, you should just give up on football. So he didn't listen to his girl, which is good. Because he wouldn't have had that facelift if he would have listened to her. So
it did, man. This dude went and got off.
Because he was like, I want to say he just couldn't really break into the first side at Pachuca. He was like in Tampico and all these other obscure clubs in Mexico, but he made it.
Yeah, and he's been good at the national team. So, we'll see him going into the next World Cup. Who knows?
Yeah,
we got the young guys like Beltran knocking at the door. So we'll see what happens.
There's really, I saw a tweet earlier this week from CONCACAF about that they were going to announce the procedure for the qualifiers. I'm trying to see if I can find it. It's going to take place on the 19th. So we're going to have some more information about how the hell this qualification is going to go down. Obviously, they're, because of COVID, everything kind of got pushed back. So, I mean, we're only, a year and a half away from the World Cup, which is kind of crazy. Or is that right? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, man, it's catching up.
Yeah.
You're going to see the first World Cup to be played in empty stadiums.
Probably. And it'll be the first World Cup in the winter, too.
Or it'll be a cheaper one. I wonder how many people will be willing to travel,
I think people will be willing to travel. I think the question will be, will they be allowed to travel? Especially for the folks
That's true.
here in the great country of America. I'm sure for the rest of the world, nobody wants to deal with our infected asses. So it's gonna be. I'm gonna have
We're gonna be banned.
I'm gonna have to use my Mexican passport to get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah, well, Mexico's having a surge in COVID, so that passport might also be blocked.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy because you're right. You know, it could be the first World Cup that we're not gonna have any fans, and at that point, why even have the World Cup? Just push it back.
They'll have that thing that temperature checks. Dude, if you have the cold, you're not seeing the game.
Yeah, and they're also very strict about like alcohol and women. So it'll be very interesting to see how this World Cup pans out. I think they're going to have like designated areas where you can drink, but they're going to be not at the stadium. So it'll be weird.
Damn, yeah, for the heathens. All right, man.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. We're gonna see how this new story unfolds for Chivas. You know, with Vucetic at the wheel. If he can't help us, man, nobody can. You know, like this guy's supposed to.
I think he'll be fine. I think Tena was fine too. All of a sudden, all these guys that were sick or injured return. Right away, he's gone. I think he'll be fine, dude. I don't. Whether he's gonna be what fans are hoping is something else, but this guy knows what he's doing. You know, he won't. I don't think he'll crash the ship.
Yeah, I mean. Also, I mean, here's the thing. This is his first big club. I mean, he hasn't coached America, has he? He hasn't coached. You know, this is the biggest club he's ever had.
Yeah.
So it's like this is a different animal, man. This is you see players and you see coaches that just can't handle the pressure. You know, the expectations, because this isn't Leon. This isn't Tecos.
True, the spotlight will be more on him, but I do think, you know, I do think he's been around long enough that he's not like a rookie or anything. So
yeah,
I do think that's gonna help him. Just that he has that experience. I mean, when he was at Querétaro, I think they brought him in, and he knew how to manage Ronaldinho, because
by not starting him. I mean, he didn't play.
Hey, but see, he did that, so it kind of shows his character. Cause what was his name? Nacho was like losing the squad, and just from what we heard, you know, he was having a hard time controlling them. And then Busek came in and was like, you know, he just laid down the law and he took him all the way to the final.
Yeah, and he actually
impressive, yeah.
He actually beat Chivas in a final in the Copa MX. Yeah. I don't forget that. Joel, are you still there? Oh no, I lost Joel. What happened? Hold on. Joel, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. You were saying something about Buse and final, like with Ronaldinho.
Oh, no, I don't think Ronaldinho was there anymore, but it was a Copa MX final, and then I think they beat Chivas in penalties. But he was at the helm at the time. So
yeah, well, that's the first trophy for Querétaro, first division championship.
Wow.
It's not league, but it's still
it's like their first title.
He put something in their vitrinas, man. Not even Atlas has that. Atlas can't even win the we're gonna just kick them while they're down, dude.
Oh my god, dude.
Because look, even Veracruz won a Copa MX.
Damn.
I mean, Veracruz wasn't even paying their players, man. And so, what's going on, Atlas? How can you see Veracruz winning, dude, and their players aren't even getting paid? You're supposed to have these canteranos that bleed for the jersey, and you guys can't even muster that.
They got a bunch of Argentines. They got a bunch of Argentines in the team, man. They don't even have like the cantera anymore, you know? Like they used to be known for having. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean supposedly they I mean, you know, they still have some players there. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the King Midas. I do hope he could put that, you know, his winning touch.
That winning touch. I think the biggest improvement we'll see is just the mindset, the mentality. You know, fix the, you know, maybe not send them to Colombia para pedir limosna, but
asking for handouts.
Oh my God! But hopefully, you know, he can. I mean, we're just coming off a 2-goal victory, our first 2 goals of the season. We got plenty of talent. We got speed. Now it's just like putting it all together with the right coach. This is the Chivas. You know, they got 12 spots. You know, they can finish in the 12th seed. It doesn't really matter, but once you get to the playoffs, that's a completely different animal, and he's got a really good track record. So I'm excited to see what he does on Saturday at 3 p.m.
Yeah. And then look, it's 12. So it's 18 teams, but you don't count yourself. So it's 12 out of 17. But then we automatically discount Atlas. That's 6. So it's kind of hard not to. You're gonna have to try not to qualify, man. I think it's gonna be harder to not qualify to Liguilla than to actually qualify to Liguilla.
That's actually right. You know, it's like it's harder to not make it than it is to make it, man.
Yeah, so I mean, and then you got these smaller teams like Mazatlan, San Luis, that they don't have that much depth, that are gonna hurt somewhere down the line with injuries and whatnot. So I mean, yeah, you had like Juarez, Mazatlan, Atlético San Luis,
Necaxa.
That's already yeah. You already got a bunch of teams already that were just
and it's a shame that there's no punishment for you know, last place. There's no regulation, at least for the next 2 years. So
yeah, they won't be relegation. So that's not, you know, you as a team you don't have to worry about it.
They should at least they should still find some way to punish the team. In the MLS, they give the shittiest team a wooden spoon, but Mexico being Mexico, they should just make them wear like paper bags over their heads.
Atlas would have the gold spoon by now.
At least they would have something in the cabinet, man.
This would be cool. Like, you know, you can level up on guns in Call of Duty. Obsidian spoon, man.
It's like it went from like wood to like you know, aluminum, and then since they're so, you know, just
they would have that, man, the platinum.
No, but I'm serious. They should wear like paper bags over their heads while they play, like just for like the first game of the season, because they were the shittiest team. You know, there's no other punishment. You can't regulate these guys. You know, you should find some way to shame them.
It should, yeah. You know what? You're right. It should be, or you have to make every team. You have to do the. You know what they do in Spain? Like I think they only do it at the start of the season. So the team that won, when they play their first game, the other.
Oh yeah.
They do like.
They do the standing ovation thing where like they like line up and then they.
What it's called? Yeah.
They like clap. Yeah.
So you're gonna have to do that like for every game, dude. You know, just line up and.
Nah, they should make them come out every game with paper bags over their heads, and everyone gets to laugh at them.
just paper bags, but a bunch of the anthems are played, right? So I think you'll be able to run around like that.
Oh man.
Shit. Well, yeah, there we go, man.
We got everything wrapped up for Jornada 3 and 4. Next week we'll be talking about the results that will happen tomorrow and this weekend, and then we'll see how there again, without failure, there's always some kind of novela, chisme, and drama going on in the league. So we'll keep you guys posted on Twitter. But yeah, thank everyone for and the YouTube was live today, man. There was a lot of people listening, and so thank you guys for listening. And also I want to apologize for the last episode. We had some technical difficulties, so the audio is shit, and unfortunately the file got corrupted, so you guys won't be able to ever listen to it. And man, there's a lot of shit we said on that one, so it's just lost in the archives. But yeah, Joel, thanks for hopping on tonight. Do you got any closing thoughts?
That's just it, man. Because Liga MX harder to miss Liguilla than to qualify.
Let's go.
Still fun. It's still fun to watch.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you for listening.